Hi there, my name's Ariel and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a zero-based budgeter and I do the cash envelope stuffing system. Currently I am working on debt and buying a new mattress for my two goals. If any of that interests you, feel free to follow, but let's go ahead and dive into today's video. So if you watched my last video, I said there that I do get paid bi-weekly. Today we are doing someone else's budget. It's my boyfriend's. He is a server because he's in school currently, so he has a rather inconsistent pay. So we got tips from the Budget Mom. I don't know if you guys know her, but she wrote the book, My Money, My Way. And in there, she had some really great tips about how to budget if you have an inconsistent pay. So we actually took those tips and have been implementing them. So one of the biggest tips and one of the biggest differences is that he pays himself every 2 weeks. So he holds on to all of his card tips and his cash, and he just makes sure he doesn't spend any of it for 2 weeks. And then at the end of those 2 weeks, he knows how much he has for the next 2 weeks. So how much to cover bills, how much to cover like living, everyday expenses. You'll see that he doesn't have debt. I have debt. Besides like a credit card that he pays on every month. His main goals right now, in comparison to mine, because mine is paying off debt, his is saving. So he's trying to save as much as he can. I'm trying to pay off debt, and then we're tackling together the whole mattress situation that I mentioned. This is a new setup that we're doing. We just did the first like round of 2 weeks. So we're still very, very, very new to it. So if you guys actually have any tips for us, please let me know, because I'm not an expert at this, but I do think we have a good setup, a good kind of flow going. I appreciate that he is the opposite 2 weeks than me, because this was actually considered his magic month. So he got 3 paychecks this month. So we were able to kind of get all of his budgeting and stuff organized pretty well because of that. And I'll kind of explain it as we go. Let's go ahead and dive right into this. This is my planner that I use. It's from Papers by Jessica Ann. Says it right there. Fun fact, she followed me this past week. When I got the notification, I was like fangirling so hard. I was like, no, she did not. So that's crazy. And she's really so sweet. I messaged her and I was like, not to say I'm not fangirling, but I am. She was so sweet. And she even said that she loved my content, and like, what? I'm still like, kind of like, no, yes. So how awesome. But yeah, so this is her planner. She has a lot of different covers for it. They're so cute. And it's such a great, great, great planner. So I'm not tracking his expenses. Again, it's his money. I'm just kind of helping him organize it. So if he wanted to keep track of his expenses, like, he's more than welcome to. I already have to keep track of mine. He is more than welcome to track his expenses. It's beneficial to track your expenses. That was all up to him. What works out perfectly is that there's plenty of these paycheck planners in each month, and I only have to use 2 since I only have 2 paychecks a month. So the other 2, or 3 in this case, can go to my boyfriend. So we can also keep track of his like in the same place. So it was really cool, because at first we were about to buy him like a whole new paycheck planner, and it was like, well, what if you just, kind of use mine since we have it. I do write at an angle in case you're new here. Today's technically the 18th. He paid himself yesterday, so yesterday was the 17th. So first is his fixed expenses. He doesn't have too many. I think they just kind of add up. And this is kind of where a lot of explanation might need to come, just to kind of talk about how we got him into this setup. First is his credit card payment, actually. All right, so this is what his fixed expenses look like. So the big one is actually rent. So I have it listed on the 31st because that's technically correct. He's technically paying rent twice this month, because our rent's just to my parents. He's already paid them for this month of March. He's about to pay them actually April's month. So he's gonna hold on to it until the 31st. This only covers from the 17th to the 30th, but I have these 3 things that clearly go past the 30th. So rent is one of them, and he's gonna pay them well in advance, because we're gonna start splitting his rent between 2 paychecks. So each week he'll pull out $150 for rent. Because one of the issues that we ran into when we were starting to set up his budget, a lot of his bills, like big bills, came out at the very beginning of the month. So we're talking rent, storage, car payment, payment for his phone, car insurance, all at the very beginning of the month. So we're really glad that it was his magic month, because he was able to kind of take steps to balance it out. So what it was is like his first 2 weeks that we did this was very bill heavy. He just paid rent 2 weeks ago. He's about to pay rent again, and then his third paycheck of this month, he'll pull out $150 for rent. And so it's just to kind of get him more balanced when it comes to his bills. And then because we moved in, we have a storage unit, so he pays a little bit of the storage unit, and then, you know, gym and stuff. So Synchrony is his actual, which I guess I could have technically put down there, but it's fine. Synchrony is his credit card, because we bought furniture when we moved into our first apartment, and he's still paying off his portion. So that is his fixed expenses. Oh, I forgot to list his income. He made $1,060.39. Let's go ahead and tally this up. I do have a borrowed phone right now, so that I don't have to keep on using the giant laptop. So I think one of these days I might just have to go ahead and buy a calculator. I don't know. Okay, so $518.25. We're going to subtract that from the total income. The leftovers $542.14. Now to go into variable expenses. All right, let's go over his variable expenses really quick. So groceries, we both put in $75 a week, so every 2 weeks is $150. We split groceries. Gas is a little bit different, and this is where it's like you play around with a budget whenever you're first trying to establish one. Like, keep on playing around with it, keep on messing with it, find where it works best for you and your lifestyle and your expenses. So gas, this past 2 weeks, we budgeted $50, because when I asked him how much he thinks he uses for gas, he says probably about $50 every 2 weeks. So we ran through his 2 weeks. He didn't make it into the next 2 weeks for another $50. So he went ahead and put in $50 for these 2 weeks. And so we're only giving him 10 because of the fact that we're hoping that since it was just 2 days ago that he refilled his tank, that if he needs more money for his gas, $10 is good. Starting his next 2 weeks, we'll allocate $60 because he paid $50 on Thursday and it's 2 days later. He hasn't really driven too much. We're hoping that if he gets through it with that $50 and then the additional $10, $60 should work. If it doesn't work, then we'll increase it more. And so we're just trying to play around and see where this goes and like where it should be at. I have an economy car, so like $20 a week is really all I need. I budget $75 because of the, not a week, I budget $75 every 2 weeks because that leftover actually rolls into my car maintenance, which is really important to me. And so that's kind of the idea of the same thing with him that I would love to kind of end up doing, is having enough gas money to the point of like, if he has rollover, we can go ahead and roll it into a car maintenance fund. So gas, eating out is $60. He gets more, he eats out more than I do, so he definitely gets more money in eating out. Miscellaneous $20, fun $50. Sora, he's our cat, so he gets $20. And then hair is $10 because he has to get a haircut routinely. So let's add it all together. All right, we're looking at 320. And then we'll subtract it from this 542.14, 222.14. The next is his savings. So this isn't really a savings. I just kind of need a placeholder. Maybe it should have been with fixed expenses. I don't know. I was going to try to put it in variable, but there's no space. So it's just his buffer. He is someone that he needs to see a like number, like comfortable number in his account. Otherwise he kind of panics about it. and he's just like, you know, where is it at? And like, I totally understand because that's how I was in the beginning. And even now I kind of trip up on that. And like, I have to sit there and like take a moment and be like, I have money. Like, that's the point of zero-based budgeting, is that all of it's just doing its job. So I tried explaining to him that when it comes to zero-based budgeting, you have to remember that it's okay to see a low number in your account. That actually means that like it's working. Like, instead of seeing it as, oh no, I have a low number in my account, see it as, I paid my bills on time, I'm saving money, I'm living out my day-to-day with still having fun with friends and eating out when I want to. And like, for me especially, I'm paying off debt. It's shifting the mindset to say, okay, my money's doing its job. The jobs that I assigned it, the jobs that I allocated for it. Ever since we dated, he's always been kind of one of those people where he likes seeing his money in his checking account grow. We're going to increase his buffer little by little, just so that he gets really comfortable about the numbers that he sees in his account. And then just really work on like not actually spending the buffer, because it's just there to almost make him feel better about the zero-based budgeting. Hopefully that makes sense. I mean, let me know in the comments if you guys have a really hard time with seeing such a low number in your checking account. We were going to do 100, and then we talked about it further, and he did not like that he was putting more towards his buffer than his savings. So at first we were saying $100 buffer and then $70 savings, and then he was like, no, let's do 75 buffer. And so we were able to swap it around. So buffer is getting 75. And then savings is getting 102.14. And then again, as I stated before, he's helping me with the envelope challenge so that we can go ahead and get a bed. That is getting 45. So he's filling out one of the envelopes this week, so that's exciting. And so yeah, let's go ahead and add all that up. Is 222.14. All right, so if we subtract that from that, we're gonna get 0. So let's go ahead and add all these up together, and it should be $1,060.39. Look at that. Cool, we successfully did a zero-based budget for him, and I'm so excited about it. So I think he's really actually starting to like it. We've actually done cash budgeting with him before, but it was when he had a consistent pay. So the inconsistency does add a little nervousness to it. But the big goal to actually kind of, again, step away from that, really honestly step away from him as a server doing paycheck to paycheck, is honestly going to be getting a month ahead. So I am actually about to make his envelopes later today, hopefully, if I have the time, of his getting a month ahead for all of his bills and expenses. We know that his next month is covered. So that is our strategy right now with him, with his paycheck. And I think it's gonna work out really well. We're just gonna have to work out kinks. Again, really learn as we go through this process. And again, if you guys have any tips, please share them, because I'm really hoping that we can get this down. I have a pretty good feeling about this already. Again, it's gonna be him kind of adapting, adjusting to this budgeting. I hope this was kind of informational, even though I'm new to an inconsistent pay, but maybe it gives you guys an idea of what to do for yourselves if you too are inconsistent. The hardest part is honestly saving up that first 2 weeks. We just made sure that he had enough for the 2 weeks that he was not going to be spending any money. Maybe that encourages you to do the hard part of saving and not touching it for 2 weeks. And now that we're holding on to his money, he kind of can see how much he needs to make each week or every 2 weeks. So for him to cover all of his bills and all of this, it actually comes out to like $875 really every 2 weeks. So anything over that gets to get put towards savings. That is what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys found this informational, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!